Hello, good evening all. Any doubts, ma, in yesterday's class? Please let me know if you have any doubts. In the chat box, you can respond in the chat box. Any doubts in yesterday's class? I hope all of you are practicing daily the programs and the concepts, whatever we are discussing in the class. Okay, please plan some time for this Python. Whatever may be your busy schedule. I know you are busy with your academics, maybe with your exams, or maybe with your okay lab works, or okay some other works you are busy, but you spend some time, because uh, concept practice after completion of the class is very easy. You are in that mode only, okay, and it's very easy for you to practice. But if you postpone it for 2 days or 3 days, then it is very difficult. For example, today we are discussing some concept. If you practice it immediately, maybe after okay, for example, we complete by 9. So if you practice from 9:30 to 10:30 like that, okay, then it may took 1 hour only for practicing. Tomorrow, if you practice, it will took definitely minimum 1.5 hour to 2 hours. If you practice, okay, maybe day after tomorrow, then it will took more than 2 hours also, because it's going to take more time if you are delaying for further. Yeah. So yes. So I think all of you understood the exception handling, right? Exception handling, how we are going to handle exceptions. What is try block? What is catch block? What is a try block, except block, finally block, and what is else block? So all these things are clear, right? Okay. So now I'm going to start a new concept, that is GUI programming. Okay. So it is actually the last topic in core Python. After this, directly we'll go for some small projects. And share my screen. So this is very important, especially for doing projects. The concept what we are discussing in today's class is very important, and it is very new also. It's absolutely new topic for all of you. So please focus so that you can understand. Okay. So what is GUI programming? What is GUI? GUI means graphical user interface. Graphical user interface. Okay. So if I want to give some examples to you, right? Okay, are the applications where, hello? So please mute. Somebody is unmuted. Okay. So if I want to develop some graphical user interface application, so in Python we have a separate module, that is tkinter. It's actually a separate package in Python. So tkinter is a separate okay. It's a package in Python where you'll get use of all the components. So you can use all the modules in tkinter, so that you can develop different types of GUI related projects or GUI related applications. What is GUI related application? Simple example. Okay, so I'll have some text box. 1 minute. So I'll show you some examples. What is meant by GUI related applications. I'll open this whiteboard. I'm trying to share whiteboard to explain the concept of simple concept of GUI related. Okay, I think is my whiteboard visible? Is it visible, ma? Please respond in the chat. Okay, right. So now I'll try to uh, demonstrate what type of applications will comes under some GUI. Okay, so just roughly I am drawing. Okay, so for example, I'll have something like some. Okay, so I'll have some text box. Okay, some username. Okay, so I'll have some username. All of you know, right? This login forms, whatever may be the login form, whether it is Gmail login or Facebook login. Okay, username will have one text box and we'll have one password. Okay, the password will be there and we'll have one more text box. So this is a simple application of a GUI form, so where you are going to take input from the user. So here we are having one more text box, and finally we are having some button. Hello. Pravalika, please mute. Pravalika. So I think this form is visible, right? Okay, so here you are going to give some input. So in text box, username, there is a text box. Password, there is a text box. And login is a button. So in this text box, you are going to give some input. You are going to enter something. In password, you are going to enter something. Once you are entered something in username and password, you are going to click on this button, login button. Okay. Then based on your username and password, okay, maybe you can go to your page, your profile page. For example, if it is a Gmail, then you will go to your Gmail inbox page. Or if you are given some wrong username or wrong password, then you will get error and you will be there in this page itself. So this is a simple application or simple example of GUI. Okay. So GUI means graphical user interface, where the user is going to give some input through some input device. Means input device means you can give some input through keyboard, or you can enter some input through mouse also. So it is expecting some input from the user. So these type of applications we can do in Python by using a package called tkinter. Tkinter is it's actually inbuilt package in Python. Okay, you don't need to okay, you don't need to download any separate software for doing this GUI applications in Python. I hope you understood, right? What is the meaning of GUI application? At least you got an idea. Okay, so now in GUI, in tkinter package, we are having different components. They are known as widgets. What are the different types of widgets are available? We'll have label, and we'll have text box, and we'll have checkbox, and we'll have radio button. We are going to use all these widgets while developing some GUI related application. Radio button, checkbox, button, and we'll have some frame, and we'll have some message box, and we'll have some drop down. So these type of widgets commonly we are going to use for doing this graphical user interface forms, GUI forms. Okay, so let me give an example. Okay, let me show you something so that you can understand how you can create a form by using tkinter. I'll write an example program so that you can understand how this tkinter will works and how you are going to create some GUI related application. Okay, so let me write some program here. Already I told you, for doing any type of GUI application, you are supposed to use tkinter module. So first I'm going to create some GUI program 1. So here I'm going to use only labels. I want to use some labels. Okay. So everything you have to create manually here with the help of this tkinter module. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this package from tkinter. Already we seen what is the use of from keyword. Import star. So what is the meaning of this line? From tkinter, tkinter is a package. Import to star. Import star means I'm going to import all the modules in this tkinter package. I want to use all the modules. So that's why I written import star. Okay. After this, I want to create a window. Okay. I want to create window. How can I create a window? Simply I can write window is equals to, just you can call this function tk. Tk is nothing but it is a function that is available in tkinter. So tk means if we call this function, then a window will be opened, and after window is opened, you are going to display window dot main loop. What is the meaning of window dot main loop? I'll write here. The meaning of window dot main loop is, so we are going to enter the event in main loop. We are going to enter the event in main loop. Means just we are adding the window so that the window will be appeared. Okay. So let me run this program. Nothing is there. Just I imported the package of tkinter and I created a window, and I am trying to display that window. So this is a simple program. Okay, so now I'll run this program. You'll see what will happen. If you observe here, there is a window created. A small window is appeared. Okay, so this is what we can call it as a form. This is a form window. Okay, so nothing is there in this. Okay, we are not added any widget. I told you like the widgets are, we can have label, text box, radio button, check box. All these are widgets. If you want, you can add the widgets in this form, in this GUI form. But because this is the first program in GUI programming, I am not adding any widget into it. If you want, you can add. We'll see how we are going to add a widget into this GUI form. We'll see one by one. So I hope till this it's clear to all, right? Is it clear? Please respond in the chat box. Is it clear or not? I hope all of you observed this window, right? This is the output of this window is the output of the program what we written. Okay, just creating a window. Okay, so here I created an empty window. This is an empty window where, okay, no widget is added into it. I didn't added any widget. Now, okay, 1 minute. Sai Sharanya has once explained. So here, this is nothing but a package used for. This is package used for creating any graphical user interface application, and this is for initiating your window. Okay, window is equals to, just we are calling this function tk. Tk means tkinter only. In tkinter, we are going to use this tk is nothing but initiating a window, and I want to display that window, so that I'm going to use window.main loop. So that for displaying purpose, the window I'm going to use window.main loop. So this is the common template. This is the common template. This will be there for any GUI programming. Okay, these 3 steps will be there for any GUI programming, whether you are going to use label or a text box or radio button or checkbox or button whatever the widgets you want to add, but this part of the code is common, right? Okay. So now we'll try to add some components. We'll try to add one by one component so that okay, the code is becoming uh, some more lines, because it's the first program in GUI. I didn't added anything, but now I want to add some components here. As I said, okay, we are having so many widgets. So now I want to add first a label. Okay, I want to add a label. So in label, what will be there? So now I want to create a separate program where these common steps will be there, but I want to add something here. Now I'm going to create okay, one more important thing here before adding label. By default, if you observe the previous program, this is the previous program output. If you didn't mention any size for the window, by default, okay, you will get this size. This is actually very small size, but I don't want this small size. I want to get the window in some other size. Then you can mention the size of the window. Okay, how you are going to mention the size of the window? You can mention the size of the window by using method called geometry. Window dot geometry. Okay, so here you can mention the height and width of the window. I will mention, for example, 800 across 800. So this is nothing but the height and width of the window you can mention. Okay, in the previous example, what I didn't mention any size. So that's why we got a small window. But in this example, I'm going to mention some size here. I mentioned some size. So that's why I'm going to get some big window. You'll see here. Okay. Now, if you observe, the window size is increased, right? Why it is increased? Previously, we got very small window. Why? Because here I mentioned the size of the window. I given the size of the window is 800 by 800. So that's why the window size is changed here. Okay. So this is the first point we should remember. Depending on your requirement, you can adjust the window size. Okay. It may be any size. That is up to you. You may give 200 by 200, 200 by 300, 300 by 400. That is up to you. Depending on your requirement, you can give any size for the window. Okay. So before, okay, so after you are given window size, now I am trying to create some labels. Okay. So in this window, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add some labels. Or I'm going to create some labels. How can I create some labels? I want to add some label. Label name is, I can call it as some username. Username. You can give any name for label. It doesn't matter. Label. It's of type label, and it should be there in your window. Okay. And the text should be appeared on that label. What is the text should be appeared? The text should be appeared is username. Okay, so you can write like this. And next, I want to add one more label here. The other label name I can call it as password. It's also label. It is also should be appeared within window only. The text appeared on that label is password. Okay, so now once I added these labels, okay, so simply I am going to use this in window. Okay, so that's why I added all these things in the window, and let's see what will happen. Okay, this is a label I created here, and this is one more label I created here. Just I created two labels. Okay, one label is for username, and one more label is for text box. sorry, second, this is for first label, username, and one more label is password. I created two labels. Okay, if you want to, you can add text boxes also. Next, I'll add text boxes. Okay, because uh, here just I want to add only labels. So here nothing is appeared. Why? Because here I didn't use the path. Path means I didn't added this to the uh, my page. For this page, I didn't added this. So that's why we are getting an empty window. So you are supposed to use a pack function. What is pack function? Pack is nothing but that label should be packed. Okay, user name dot pack. And similarly, password dot pack. Okay, you are going to use this pack function to add that labels to your form. Okay, now if you observe here, these two labels are appeared. Okay, these are nothing but known as labels. Okay, now you see here, what are the labels I created? I created first label, username, and I created second label, password. Okay, this is username label and this is password label. Please let me know if you have any doubts. Just I created two labels. Now I am trying to add two text boxes. Now I am trying to add two text boxes also. I think creating labels is clear. If you want, you can create more labels also. Okay, you can create more labels also. That is up to you. For example, you can add more labels means you can add. That is depends on you. If you want, for example, okay, you want to add some mobile number. You want to add some mobile number, email also. You want to add some mobile number and you want to add some email ID. So you want to add some mobile number. This is a label for mobile number. That name should be appeared on the label is. I want to write mobile number, and this is a email. This label is for email. Like that, you can add n number of labels. You can add n number of labels here. Just I am giving same name. So now you are going to add the same labels. Adding labels to a window is nothing but that can be done by using pack dot pack. So here I am going to add mobile dot pack, and I am going to add email dot pack. Okay. So just I added two more labels. I added two more labels. Okay. Now if you observe here, username is first label, password, mobile, email. Okay. Username, password, mobile, email. I think till this everyone is understood, right? Regarding adding labels. Okay. Now I want to add text boxes also. Please respond. Remaining students, any doubts? How to add the labels into your form? If you want, you can add 100 labels also. But if you add only label, it doesn't okay, it doesn't looks good. Your form doesn't looks good. So that's why I'm trying to add text boxes also. Actually, my requirement is what I'm trying to design is I'm trying to design a login form where username will be there, the respective text box will be there, password will be there, the respective text box will be there, and the button will be there. That is my requirement. I'm implementing that requirement step by step. I showed you, right? Login form, username, text box, password, text box, some login button. That is my requirement. So that's why I'm implementing that requirement slowly, step by step. First I added labels. Now my next step is I want to add text boxes. Next my step is I want to add buttons. Next step is I have to check whether my form is in a correct position or not. Correct position means, for example, if you observe here, this is not in the correct sequence, means the alignment. The alignment is not good. If you observe here, username, password, mobile, email, all characters are not started in the same line, right? So they are not aligned correctly. They are not aligned properly. We'll have some other functionality to align them properly. We'll see that one also. Okay. So we'll go slowly one by one how we are going to add label. Now the next step what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some text boxes. Okay. So here in this GUI, we are adding labels. So now I'll copy the same program and I'll add text boxes. Other program. Okay. So adding labels and text boxes. Okay. So all of you listen carefully. So I don't want four labels. Only for your understanding purpose only I use this two more labels. But otherwise I have two labels are enough. What are the two labels? Username and password. And for username, I need one text box. And for password also, I need one text box. For username, I need one text box. And password also, I need one text box. Okay. So I can call text box. Text box is also known as, in Python terms, it is known as entry. Okay. It is also known as entry. Entry means where you are going to enter something. That is nothing but in our language, we can call it as text box. In tkinter language, it is known as entry widget. Entry widget means text box only. So now I'll add some text box here. So maybe I'll add one text box after your username. I'll add text box 1. I can call it as TB1. TB1 means text box 1. It is nothing but type of entry, and it should be there in window. It should be there in window. And if you want, you can give some width also. Okay, I'm giving some width is equals to some some number. You can give some number. So text box 1 I added. Next, I want to add one more text box. TB2 is equals to entry of it should be there in window, and I want to give some width for this also. Width is equals to some 20. Okay, so just I added these two lines. This is for adding first text box, and this is for adding second text box. Okay, once this is done, then I'm supposed to pack all these things. What are the things I need to pack? TB1 dot pack. So that will be added to form, and TB2 dot pack. So this is also going to be added to form. Okay. So only extra steps. What I written extra steps. This is one step, and this is one more step. Adding second text box, and adding this text box to form, and adding this text box also to form. So these are the 4 lines I added. Let me save and run this. Okay, so now all of you see here, for username, I got one text box. That is what I written in the program also. If you observe here, after username, I written one text box. Entry means text box. After label, username label, I got one text box. And after password label, I got one more text box. All of you please see carefully. This is a text box as where you are going to give some input. This is a text box where you are going to give some input. So these are nothing but the text boxes. Okay. So now we added 2 labels and 2 text boxes. Is it clear to everyone? Is it clear to everyone? Please respond in the chat box. Already I told you what are the steps we are added, okay, for inserting text boxes. Okay. So now my now my question is, I want to add a button. I want to add a button. Okay. I want to add a button. So where I want to add the button? I want to add a button. I want to add a button after the second text box. Okay. So now I am going to add this button. Okay, BTN, you can do any name, that is up to you. BTN means button 1 is equals to, it's of type button, okay, and it should be there in window, and the text is equals to, okay, I'm going to write login, okay, so login. Okay, if you want some other you can write, but okay, so now I want to add this also to pack. btn1 dot pack. Now additionally what I did here, this is nothing but I'm considering as a separate program so that you can understand what modifications I'm doing in each and every program. So this is adding labels, text boxes, button. So just I added a new button here. So this is button 1 and this is packing that button, and remaining everything is as usual. Now we'll see how this output will look like. Okay, now you see here. Initially we added only some labels. Later we added only 2 labels. And after that I added text boxes. And now I added a button. So now if you look like this output, it's in a format of some login form where you are seeing, okay, in your daily life, maybe like Gmail login or Facebook login or some Insta login. Okay, so all the normal applications will look like in this format only, where they are going to ask some username and they are going to ask some password and they are going to have some button like login button. Is it clear? Now we'll do some customization for this login form. Customization means I want to modify. What is my modification? My modification should be like this text box, okay, should be appeared beside username. Here what we are getting, username, after username in next line we are getting text box. My requirement is this text box shouldn't appear in new line. It should be appeared beside username. In the same line it should appear. Next password, after password in the same line I should get some text box. That is my requirement. But till this, is it clear to everyone? Everyone understood how we got that login form? The procedure, the steps. Because I'm telling you, if you do this GUI programming, okay, you are going to be satisfied 200%. Because till now, whatever the programs you are written so far, in that programs, you are you may not feel something new. Then the size of window can be adjusted in mobile. Yes, you can adjust in mobile also, but it depends on the resolution of your mobile. Okay, in my system, the resolution is okay, it's 1024/768 like that. So in your mobile, the resolution will be changed. So you can give some window size so that it will be changed in mobile also. Okay, so now my requirement, I told you, my requirement is it's not in separate lines. This text box, username text box, should be appeared in the same line as username label. Password text box should be appeared in the same line as password label. So that is my requirement. Almost done. This is almost done. Okay, but only, okay, finally just I'm going to do some makeup. Okay, just I'm going to do some adjustments. Okay, so yeah, how we are going to do that adjustments? So we'll see now. Okay. So yeah, how I am going to adjust these things? Now you see here, just I am going for adjustments in other program. In other program, I am not modifying this program. I am not modifying this program. Okay, so just what adjustments I am doing, all of you please see here. Okay, before going for adjustments, how the adjustments can be done in GUI? So it is very easy to adjust the look and feel of your GUI if you are using the concept of grid, okay, or if you are using the concept of coordinates. I think all of you are familiar with coordinates. What is meant by coordinate? Coordinate means x coordinate, y coordinate, like that. Or you can go with some what we can call, we can go with some grid format. Grid format means you can use some table format also. So that is up to you which type of format you are going to use. If you want to use some grid format, you can use grid format, or if you want to use some table format, then you can use table format also. Okay, so we'll go with some grid format. Means grid means table only. So where we are going to adjust our uh, widgets. Okay, widgets means I can adjust my uh, text box, I can adjust my second text box, first text box, and all those things I can adjust. Or if you want to go with the coordinate system also, we can. So how we are going to adjust? First, let me explain. For that, let me share once again. Uh, 1 minute. I'll show in this page. Okay. So here, yeah, my desired output should be like my desired output should be like this is my desired output. Okay. So in this format, I want my login form. But in which format we got? Right now we got, okay, we got a row by row, but I don't want in that format. I think understood, right? What I am talking. I think my this paint is visible, right? Is it visible, this paint? Please respond. Is paint is visible, and what I am talking, I think all of you are getting, right? Okay, right. So what is my requirement now? My requirement is very simple. I'm going to change. The adjustment of the output what we got so far. So that output I'm going to change it to row level. So actually, in the previous output, username in first row. Next, this text box in new line, and this one password in next line, and next text box in next line, and so on. We got it. But now I don't want to use that. I want to use uh, all these things. Means username and respect to text box in the same row, and password and respect to text box in the same row, and login button that should be there in some other row. Okay. For that, what we are going to do? First, you should know the concept of grid. What is meant by grid? So this is nothing but you consider this as a grid. Okay, you consider this as a grid. So if you observe here, all of you know, this is I can call it as, I'm dividing this into this. Okay. So this is what I can call it as, this is row. Okay. So this is R0, row 0, and this is row 1. Okay. And this is, I can give some space for this button. I can call some row 2 or row 3 or row 4, whatever you want, you can. Okay. So now my requirement is, and what about this? This is C0, column 0. Okay. And this is C1. Okay. So here, so in R0, C0, row 0, column 0, in row 0, column 0, I want, in row 0, column 0, I want this username. Okay. In row 0, column 1, I want this text box. In row 1, column 0, I want this password label. In row 1, column 1, I want this text box. And then finally, in some other row, I want this login button. So in this way, I'm going to adjust the form whatever we created so far. Understood, all of you? Understood or not? Please let me know. Still any doubts? Okay. So in this way, we are going to adjust it. Okay. So if you want to adjust like this, then automatically your form will be adjusted in the required format. So here, username dot rid of, I want this in rows. Okay, I want this in row 0. Row is equals to 0 and column, COLUMN, column is equals to 0. Okay, I want this in row 0, column 0. And what about this text box? Text box I want this in same row. I want this in same row. Okay, so that is row 0, column 1. And what about this password? Password I want in new row. So that's why I can write row 1, column 0. And what about this? I want this in some other column. Row 1, column 1. So this is row 1, column 1. And what about this login button? Login button I want in some other row. I can call it as maybe some row 5 or row 6. These are the modifications I did. I hope all of you understood this, right? All of you getting? Just I added only grade function with the positions of rows and columns as I explained here. So row 0, column 0 username label, row 0, column 1 text box for username, row 1, column 0 password label, row 1, column 1 password text box, and in some other row, okay, that login button. That is what I written here. That is what the same thing I written here. Okay. Now I'll okay, now see here, if you observe this, username, beside username I got text box, password, beside password you got text box, login button. In the previous output what we got something like username, the text box is appeared in new line, next row we got password, this text box is appeared in new line, in new row we got login button, like that. So now this is the requirement what I am expecting, same thing I draw. Okay, I showed you in your paint also. Okay, so this is what I'm expecting. This is what the requirement I expected, and the same requirement we got it. Okay, so just you compare. This is what my requirement, and I got the same thing, right? If you want to adjust this login button, you can adjust here also. You can adjust here also. Okay, but I don't want to write. Okay, so here I written only in column 0, so that's why it is appeared towards left. If you want it appear in the middle or in the right also, you can do it. That is up to you. So this is what our requirement is. Okay, I think all of you understood this, right? Okay. So now my question is, I'm going to give a big assignment today, because I hope all of you understood this. Okay. Please try to note down this assignment and you do this. Okay. So add 4 labels to GUI. First assignment. Second, add 3 text boxes. 3 text boxes to GUI. Third assignment. Add 3 buttons to GUI. Fourth one is actually big task. Okay. Create a registration form. Registration form with the following labels and the text boxes with the submit button. Okay. So what are the labels? Labels are call ticket number, next name, father name, next email, mobile, email. Okay. Okay. For hall ticket number is a label. There is a text box. Name, there is a text box beside name. Father name is a label. There is a text box for father name. Mobile is a label. There is a text box for mobile. Email is a label and there is a text box for email. Finally, you have a submit button. Submit button. Okay. Please let me know any doubts for doing this these 4 programs. If anyone having any doubts for completing this task, please let me know in the chat box. Which program? Assignment program or the program what we discussed? Which one you are talking about? Are you talking about task I given or the program what we discussed so far? Class program. What is class? Class program is the thing what we written so far. This one. Okay, now I think all of you note down this. Anyway, I'll share this document with you. Okay, so that you can find everything in the document, including this assignment. But all of you, please complete this program. All these 4 programs you must complete. Okay, na? So I'll stop here. Please do these programs.